What's up, my fellow creators? Welcome, guys. I hope you're having a beautifully blessed day. Thank you for joining me for a moment in Topics with Becky. So, today I want to talk to you about seeing things as happening for you and not to you. Okay? This is a hard situation to accept sometimes. So before we get into it, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, set that notification bell down below so you always know when the next video does go live, and make sure you guys do check out my channel for more content, pick a card readings, zodiac readings, positivity, and so much more to help you guys embrace the truth of who you are. So let's get into it. I think a lot of times we have tragedy happen in our lives, right? And I will bring up a personal story to exemplify this, I think is what I want to say. Anyways, let's get into it. So, oftentimes we will have situations that arise in our life that we're not very happy about, right? Like, we lose our job, we lose our car, we lose our friends, we lose our love, we lose everything that we thought was good and happy and sturdy in our lives, and then we're stuck at the bottom of this barrel in a state of true depression. Right? And it's not to say that it's not a meaningful depression. I think that's the thing. It's like, it really is. It means something. It happened for a reason. Like, you feel upset because of something. I'm going to pull you guys a little bit closer here. There we go. I've got a lot of glare coming off over here. Yeah, it's like you guys have dealt with it, and now you don't want to. You just want to feel sorry or wallow in your pity. And I get that. And I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, you should never wallow in your pity. Even I'm guilty of that. Okay, if there is such a thing as being guilty about it. It's just part of being human. It's part of being human and having feelings. We all feel. Okay, but I want to bring this up because oftentimes what happens is not ideal, right? We're like, why did that have to happen now? If it could have only happened when? And honestly, if it even happened, if you said if it could have only happened in a week from now, if it had happened in a week from now, you would have asked it to happen even longer down the road. And don't lie to yourself, because I've tried that too. I'm like, oh, well, if it had only happened next month, but no, it doesn't matter. The time frame never matters. It happens when it's meant to happen. And that's rough. It's rough, right? I'm going to take off my glasses because it's driving me nuts. So we end up fighting this, and we fight with the universe, and we're telling the universe, hey, you messed up. You didn't know what was right for me. How could you have done this? You didn't know that this was going to make me suffer. You didn't know that this is going to put me in a bad jam. Like, how could you have done this to me? And Source is up there like, look, I get it. I get it. This happened because I needed you to see that it is truly about how you approach a situation, no matter what that situation is, right? If it's a broken heart, can you approach it with loving and compassion and kindness, not only to yourself, but to the person that was involved, even if they broke your heart? Like, even if they were a cheater, even if they were a downright terrible person, can you still approach it with kindness and goodness with your heart? And that's what Source is trying to teach us. It's not about the situation that happens, because no matter what, at the end of the day, everything that happens to us is still life. Life doesn't stop just because we think it should. That is how it works. What ends up happening is when you start to raise your consciousness and you start to raise your vibration, you begin to see everything as, oh, okay, this was teaching me something, or this was helping me actually take that next step into the higher level of thinking. And I've got a couple of stories here. Anybody that's been watching any of my videos recently, you may have known that my car broke down. And this was such a situation for me because it was like I was really dependent on my car. It helped me and my family enjoy a more comfortable ride to go around in. When I didn't have it, it was down to a 2-seat truck. It was very small, tiny, and I couldn't go to the store and do other errands. It was like I had to go one place, come back home, and then plan another day to go to another place. Couldn't just make a whole outing like I did when I had my car, or the car. It's nothing really truly is ours, and that's another conversation for another time. But it really put a damper on things for me, okay? And if you guys know, you probably watched the video where I was just kind of like at the end of it, after I got upset about it and I felt how I felt about it, I was able to let it go. I realized it wasn't worth holding on to the anger, the pain, or it wasn't worth holding on to the memories that this car brought into my life. It wasn't worth holding on to the past just because I felt like I had to. Well, that car was a part of me and now it's not a part of me anymore. That car was never a part of me. It was just a tool that I had in my life that allowed me to enjoy things easier, right? So what was I really missing? The ease of which my life was when I had it. However, when I let it go, it's amazing how quickly things started happening for me. They started falling into place like that, and I was able to invite in a new vehicle into my life. And now I'm very pleased with this vehicle. I'm just very satisfied, and it's a new chapter for me. I was able to let go of a lot of the past that was in my life because of that car breaking down. And I didn't realize that before until I was able to invite this new vehicle into my life. And it was odd because when I invited it in, my heart space opened really wide and I ended up hurting myself, right? And I talk about how sometimes our spirit will make us hurt ourselves in order to help our certain chakras reactivate or to open wider. And that's exactly what happened on the day that I got the car. I hurt my thoracic spine. It was very deep within my being. I had this pop, and I've actually been resting for the first time in a long time. I haven't been doing yoga for like a week, and at first it started to freak me out. I was like, I gotta push myself. But the more I pushed myself, the more I hurt. So finally I had to take a rest, and I stopped. And the second part of my story here, it was like, I had to realize that sometimes it truly is about just receiving and allowing ourselves to sit in the compassion and gift of receiving what it is that is come into our lives. And there's many, many blessings. It's like I could say, oh, I got a brand new car. It's brand new to me, but it's a much older model than the one that I had to let go of. And a lot of people would have never dealt with that. Like they'd have been like, no, it has to be newer. It has to at least be the same year. And it's like you put these stipulations on yourself and you basically tell Source that Source doesn't know what's best for you. You're letting your ego say that your ego knows what's best for you. Okay? So I bring this up because I want you guys to understand that there's a lot of things that can happen. You know, like when my mother got sick, of course it wasn't ideal. Of course it wasn't ideal. Of course I wanted her to have health. Of course I wanted her to be healthy and to be in good standing with herself. But I watched her pass away. I watched her leave this world. And I know many of you have experienced this as well. And it's like, well, what if I had done this differently? And I realized that there is no what if. Because at the end of the day, I can't tell Source, you didn't know. My mom had so much life left to live in her. But really, how do we know that that's true or it isn't true? It's just what our hearts want to believe. But is it our hearts or is it our emotional ego saying, no, I'm right and Source is wrong. You believe what I believe and not what Source is saying, not what Source is doing. And what I realized is that moment when my mom got sick, it made me stronger than I ever thought I could be. We chose not to cry in front of my mom, and I didn't know that I could do that because my mom was like the one that I could just look a certain way and she'd be like, what's going on? And then it was like now all that was gone and I had to be the one that was strong for her. I had to be the mother for her. And it was hard to see that this was for purpose. It was hard to see, but every day I saw her in front of her, I would always look up and I would say, thank you, universe. Thank you for the blessing in this situation. Even though I don't know what this blessing is, thank you for the blessing in this situation. And now here I am 4 years later. It'll be 4 years in just a few days. Here I am 4 years later, and I know that the blessing is that it forced me to really truly embrace a higher consciousness. As much as I miss her, And as much as I wish she was still here so that I could give her a hug, it made me see that it's okay. Death is just, it's a part of life no matter how we look at it. It has to happen. It's the only thing that we're promised in life, and it's never going to come when we think it's the right time, because for us as humans, it's never the right time. And the point of this video is just that. How can you look at it as it happened for you? How can you try to allow yourself to see the blessing in the situation? How can you open your heart up to seeing that even though it hurts, there's still something in it for you. There's still a blessing, even if the blessing is teeny weeny, itty bitty, teeny weeny tiny. It's still a blessing, and a blessing's a miracle. You know, when my mom passed away and after I started really getting into the spiritual journey, I would thank her and my brother for taking the ultimate sacrifice so that I could change the destiny of our family. And that to me was a huge blessing. Like, they chose. Before we were ever born, they chose their life so that I could choose mine. It doesn't make it any less hard. And it doesn't change the fact that I yearn for them every day. But what happened for me was the ability to say no to a narcissist, to break up with a narcissist that I never thought I could, and to gain strength in a new world. And now when I look at myself, I know I'm completely different than I was 6 months ago, a year ago, 4 years ago, even 9 years ago when my brother passed away. Am I perfect? No. Will I ever be perfect? No. No. But what happened for me is they took the grandest sacrifice so that I could help bear the weight of our ancestral curse and heal it. I bring these stories up just to give you guys examples of, just because you're on this journey of positivity and love and unconditional love, it doesn't mean that life doesn't happen. Because life happens. You know, my grandma passed away 3 days before Thanksgiving last year. It doesn't stop. It's just that every moment changes, and we can choose to look at it as the glass half full or the glass half empty. It's not who you are, it's what you choose to do. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel down below, set that notification bell so you always know when the next video does go live. And in the meantime, go forth boldly, my fellow creators, and courageously find creative ways to rise above in life, laughter, and love. Until we see each other again, peace out. I love y'all. Bye.